Girl, we need to talk about this. We don't need to talk about this. I know you have some other things you want to talk about on the list. But briefly, you touch your face
constantly.
Way too much.
Constantly.
And you have a beautiful face, and if I had your face, I would touch it too. But
it's not like I'm touching it like I'm voguing.
I think you should.
I should. Hey, this is Amrita and Andrew. We're on a podcast journey to find our way through freelance life. If you're thinking about taking a leap off the beaten path in any part of your life, our inexpert advice is, don't think twice. Just astounding how much better kept gay men are. I mean, I know that's like such a cliche and stupid, but...
I mean, I've seen what you were wading through. I've seen the morass that Jen Hartley has waded through, and it's not just anecdotal at this point. I mean, it is, but it's...
We have enough of a sample size to...
It's fact.
Yeah.
And then the people that, like, straight women are like, oh, this guy's cute, I'm going to go on a date with him. I look at them and I'm like... All right, I see relative to what is happening here.
I see what you're seeing.
I see what you're seeing.
If we grade on a curve for heterosexuality, it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Although sometimes it's not. Like, and I think I fall less into this trap than other straight women, but sometimes it's just that he's tall. And like not at all cute.
See, that is a thing that
you don't
gay
get.
Men fall into a trap. Gay men fall into.
But you don't. You love a shorty.
Oh yeah, no. Mm-hmm. The 5'1" Puerto Rican who lives across the street. 100 pounds, tiny, but actually doesn't look tiny, like. But
proportional to himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people fall prey to the height.
Yeah, it's like, is this person like actually a suitable date, or are they just tall?
But why, like, even you fall prey to that?
I do?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not a height queen. In fact, I think that over your height is too tall. How tall are you?
6'1".
Yeah. Taller than that is too tall for me.
Why?
Because I'm short.
Mm-hmm. Just like...
it creates logistical complexities, I think.
Well, as someone who has made out with a man who is a foot smaller than me, shorter than me, I don't...
But have you ever made out with someone who is a foot taller than you? I'm just picturing the giant.
That is a goal of mine. To find a 7'1" gay man who just wants to make out with me.
Oh my god. I want to meet that person just so that we can stand next to each other and look like we're a different species. Okay. I wanted to tell you a really dumb story. So when I moved into this apartment...
Which finally has heat, by the way.
Finally has heat. Doesn't really have hot water anymore, but...
No.
It's
you
like
take
a
the good,
fucking
you take the bad.
whack-a-mole. One thing... The minute, like, one thing starts working...
And your front door is always unlocked. And today your roof...
My roof door was open. And my roof seems to not be leaking for the moment, but we haven't had snow, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Everything's great. I love my space, and everything's gonna be all right. But anyway, when I moved into this apartment by myself, and I thought like about what some of the challenges were gonna be about like solo living, and what was I gonna do about like certain emergencies, like changing light bulbs where I couldn't reach them and stuff like that. And like that's where I'm glad to have a tall friend like you, and I should say a friend who's really willing to come and assist. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All this to say,
where's this going?
I as you know, have a debilitating fear of roaches, like the big guys, the big ones. Like
German? No.
No, those are the little guys.
Oh.
The like so-called water bugs.
Yes.
So I was cleaning up for my mom's visit.
Yes.
So I was like...
The Queen's visit.
I was clearing some things. I was like changing the sheets, like, so I was like sort of on the floor level, like, you know, under the bed. And I spy something under the bed, and I just completely freeze. I'm horrified.
Do you store things under the bed?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. So I catch a glimpse of something under there, and I was like, oh my god, that is like the biggest dead bug. It's huge. And so like I'm all completely paralyzed. It's dark, of course, under the bed. So I get back down on the ground level and I peer under there again just to like see if I can get a little bit of a better glimpse. It's pretty far under there. And I look and it's, it's brown and it's sort of like belly up, and then there's all these like large looking legs kind of sticking up at crazy angles. And so then I like stand up and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm so terrified of them that like even a carcass will send me into a complete tailspin. So I'm like, oh my god, my mom is on the way, her plane has landed. What am I gonna do? I'm so scared. I don't think I can do this. I think it's too big to like just put my vacuum under there blindly.
Oh no, it is
in there. Huh?
Okay, continue. How big was this?
So it was quite large and looked very robust.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I just need to like get myself together. I just need to like, and so I come over and I sit on the couch. I'm starting to sweat, and like, my stress sweat. I'm stress sweating.
Yeah,
it smells like onions.
Yeah.
I'm completely freaking out. And I was like, I'm going to call Andrew. I think I'm gonna have to call Andrew, and then he's gonna have to come over. He's gonna be so mad at me, and he's gonna be like,
wouldn't have been mad.
And he's like, I can't believe you called me for like a dead. It's not even alive.
I would have made fun of you.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is so terrible. But like my mom's coming, and I was like, you know what? No, I don't think I have enough time. I think I'm just gonna. What if I just don't tell her about it, and then I'll deal with it like tomorrow. I'll just like let her sleep in the bed with this big thing under there. And then I was like,
dead bug.
Well, yeah, it seemed to be motionless as far as I could tell. So I was like, okay, so maybe that's just what I'll do. I just won't tell her. It'll be like the telltale heart. Like, I'll know it's there. It'll be like haunting me the entire time we're in the apartment. But anyhow, so this is where I am in this. I'm like, okay, just like calm down, get a grip, whatever. I was like, you know what I'm just going to do? I'm just going to get a flashlight, and I'm just going to get down on the floor, and I'm really going to
confront your fear.
Confront my fear and just take a look at what I'm up against. And my heart is thundering. And, I tried with my cell phone flashlight, and I couldn't. So I get my high power flashlight and turn it on, and I get on my knees and peer under the bed and shine the light under there.
What is it?
It's one of those claw hair clips. It's like lying on its back with like the legs all
Oh, you had such emotional response to this piece of plastic that you lost and kicked under the bed like 2 weeks ago.
It was like all brown and shiny, and I was so scared. And then like the feeling of like your heart thundering, and then going to be like from that to like, oh, I'm a dumbass.
You would, yeah.
It was a harsh turn indeed. And then I thought to myself, thank God I did not call Andrew to come over to the apartment with me.
Yeah, no, now that would have been
freaking out. And then he looks under there and it's a fucking hair clip. Like, what would you have done? You would have disowned me. You would have never spoken to me again.
I would have done something.
You would have like slapped me in the face.
Demanded something. Demanded payment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I caught a mouse in my apartment a couple weeks ago. As some people here may remember, when I first moved into this apartment years ago, Jed deserves 100% of the credit for killing a rat that was in our apartment.
A rat.
A fully grown, fully realized, like adult rat
I'm not sure that we
spoke 401k.
About it. I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was
401k, kids to feed.
Yeah, it was fully vested, that rat.
God.
And
It was a big rat.
yeah. And Jed was actually heroic and smothered it with a mop. And I know that's traumatic, and it is what it is. But
I mean, traumatic for him.
right.
The rat's dead.
I mean, Jed was yelling, I'm sorry at it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm sorry.
Oh, soft.
And rats squeal. So it was like...
Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, ew.
Anyway, so that was traumatic. That was years ago. And a mouse was in the apartment a couple weeks ago. And it was the cutest little mouse. And I don't want a mouse in my apartment. And they're not cute because they surprise you and they're like under the oven. And, you know, the way my kitchen's designed, there's only one way in, one way out. So, you know, if you're trapped in there with a mouse, it's...
Close quarters. Yeah.
But it had the cutest little bum, like a very big butt.
It's like a little round.
And
round boy.
I don't think it was poisoned or anything before. I did catch it with like a backbreaker. Mm-hmm. It was the slowest moving motherfucker. Just like... I like...
Oh, it was
I
like
wanted to be startled by it because it
Yeah.
would run just so slow and so cute. And there's nothing really to the story except that it was there and now it's gone. That's all I have to contribute when it comes to bugs. I haven't had any bugs in my apartment.
0?
I'm sure we've had some at some
You're the
point.
type of person who is like really good at expunging this type of thing from your memory.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes misfortunes, you'll just really...
I have a sort of a bad
memory. Yeah.
Which, you know, worries me a little bit because my grandfather had Alzheimer's.
Oh, no. Okay. This is not what we're talking about here.
I know, but I'm just sharing my fears. And I can share my fears and you can receive them.
Okay. I receive them with open arms. One thing that I'm going to talk to you about your memory thing, even though I should probably be comforting you that it's like no big deal.
No, you're about to tell me multiple
You've
times
forgotten
that I can't.
everything. No. It's not that you like, the thing is you often remember really, like, you know, thoughtful details about people and like, you know, things that they've told you last time you spoke to them, that sort of thing. So I think it's really more that you have like a selective memory and you've just decided the things that are like useful for you to hang on to versus not. But like one thing that I think is like so funny that you don't remember often is like, you really don't remember bad things. You selectively don't remember bad things as much. Or like, because I'll be like, oh, remember that time I did that really stupid thing and I felt so stupid about it, and you know, or like I said that to you and I really regretted it or whatever. I've said those types of things a couple times. And you'll be like, I have no memory of that happening. Yeah. And you've just decided it's like you just made a deal with yourself that you're like, oh, this thing that she's embarrassed about, or like, it never happened. Well, or I don't have to think about it anymore. We don't have room for that.
I think that's why I'm a good person to tell a secret to, not because I'm a good secret holder, which I am, when I know that it's an important secret, but more likely I actually forget it. So it's like, because I'm like, ooh, this is a secret. So it's like a juicy moment that we're going to share together. Yeah. And then they tell me the secret and then I'm satisfied. And then the next day it's like, oh yeah, all I remember is that there was a secret and then I was really satisfied to hear it, but I actually don't remember what the secret was.
Like the satisfaction for you comes in the moment of it's being shared. Yeah. Not like the keeping of it.
No.
So I love secrets.
People tell you secrets a lot.
And people tell me a lot of
secrets. And then you tell me them. And then I forget them.
That sometimes occurs. But again, if it's a really important secret,
if
will not tell.
No, there is a line. Yeah, there's a line. I hold secrets. There are secrets I haven't told anyone.
Yeah.
Even if I know that I could tell someone, but there's just a line. You just like know when there's a secret someone's told you that it's important.
Sometimes it's like just like even if it's someone completely unrelated. Yeah. Like some people are like that they're bad at keeping secrets, but it's like they just need to tell one person that's like unrelated to the whole scenario. Yeah. But like sometimes even that is like kind of feels like a betrayal because you know, just like putting that information out there even in concept is like not good. But yes, a lot of people tell me secrets, but I find pleasure in the keeping of them too.
Well, yeah, because this speaks to your personality. Oh, we should talk a little bit about my chart that you mapped out for me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. A little later. That just reminded me. But you are a person who hoards you're not a hoarder, but you're not a hoarder. And partially you're not a hoarder because you can't afford to be a hoarder. Like, you're just like your things. And I must say that this is a quality that I really enjoy about you.
I treasure my things.
Because, for instance, like, your apartment's very cozy because of all your things.
It's chock full of shit.
But it's like...
Every surface has a thing on it.
It's clean and well taken care of, but it has a lot of stuff everywhere. Not everywhere, but...
Yeah, like all my like shelves are crammed with little treasures. Shelves,
all the surfaces have something on them.
Like, I was the type of kid who like had pockets filled with like all sorts of little,
which is what I aspire to be.
Sticks and like beads and stuff that I would just carry, like just exploding out of all my like little pockets.
You're just like a ragamuffin.
Yeah. I found this little pouch that I when I was at my parents' house that had like my most treasured, like all these like little like,
and you just kept them in like a little box,
and they were like in this little tiny brocade like Chinese little coin purse
inlaid.
Like brocade, you know, like sort of like slippery and like ornate. And the thing is, it wasn't even like from when I was a child. It was like from when I was like a teenager.
I remember in
I'm a weird hoarder.
So, but I aspire to that. Like,
you're saying I'm an information hoarder because I can't afford to be a real hoarder.
Yes, I mean, it's just like, well, it just like, it speaks to your personality, like having things and like holding them,
treasuring
and
them.
just like looking at them. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a pretty little secret?
Yes.
Isn't that a pretty?
Sometimes you just flip
then
through
you just put it back into your little brocade purse. When I was in, so I aspire to.
I love the picture you painted.
I aspire to have all like the little things like in my house. Like, I don't have a lot of stuff in my place right now, but I remember in second grade in Miss Kinsey's class, she was retiring the year that I had her, and so nearing the end of the year, she wanted to unload all of these materials that she had collected over the 35 years that she taught. And for some reason, I know the reason, but I wanted everything. So, but I only wanted from her. So she would give other kids things that were legitimately fun, like items that were usable at home. Like
office supply type of
like
things?
Either office supplies or like games or crossword puzzle books or word find more than crossword, but word find and picture books and coloring books. What did I take from her? What did my mother let me take from her classroom?
God. Oh my God, what?
Boxes and boxes of, my mom probably doesn't even remember this, but boxes and boxes of textbooks from the 1960s.
Oh my God, you have always been, always been weird. You've always been just as you are.
Yes, so I had probably 20 of the same textbook.
Oh my God. Okay.
Then
I cannot believe that your mother allowed this.
Yeah. And then I have 2 or 3 different textbooks.
But what was your end game here?
So, my mother is brilliant in so many ways, and this is another one of them. But I also took home all the worksheets that she had. What was it before we had copy machines? We had, they're like purple copies. They're like, it's like a copy. It's like a Xerox copy, but it's before there were Xerox copy machines. It's called something else.
Oh, okay.
And the ink sort of lays a little bit differently on the worksheets, but they're just worksheets. I probably had 20 different worksheets. Probably 100 copies of each.
Oh my God.
Stacked paper.
Did your teacher think you were so weird, by the way?
She must have. I mean, in retrospect, she must have thought I was really bonkers. Who would want to take all of these
That's so weird.
things?
Yeah.
And I'm sure she was like, oh, once those get home, his mom's just like going to throw them away.
Right.
But what do we do? My mom organized. We had a storage closet in the garage. And she organized it so that I had a little table and I had all of my worksheets laid out and all of my textbooks laid out.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure she doesn't remember this. And
did them? You did the worksheets?
No. But I would pass them out to imaginary people and then collect them.
Oh my God. So you basically wanted to pretend like you were in charge.
I was the teacher. I was her. I was Miss Kinsey.
Yeah. You know what? We don't even need to do your chart. That's your chart.
And I left everything in perfect order at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I put that in quotes.
Right. At the end of a long work day.
In the storage room of my garage.
Right. today we're speaking with our friend and creative collaborator, Veronica Viper. Veronica is a burlesque performer and producer, and a bit of a fixture in New York City's burlesque scene. We co-produced a live cabaret burlesque review with Veronica for over a year. A bit of a cult favorite, if we do say so ourselves. And we are currently developing 2 scripted projects together. We drop into this conversation at the tail end of discussing ideas for a new live show, and we cover a lot of ground from there. Enjoy it, and follow Veronica at the Veronica Viper 2 on Instagram. These are questions to answer. Yeah. They're questions to answer.
Yeah. If those are logistical questions that can be answered, then it sounds very exciting.
Everything is a logistical question that can be answered. It's like how much trouble, how much cost. Yes. So I think
which one of the 3 things?
Which one of the 3 things?
Yeah.
And you can't have all 3.
Exactly. Yeah. I listen to you. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah, something has to be sacrificed. Anyway.
But it won't be sound quality.
It won't be sound quality.
Fucking hell no, it won't
that
be
is the one
quality.
thing we can be
rocking my fucking Bose lifestyle system 2 here. It's the most,
I remember when that came out.
Fuck yeah, it's the most expensive thing I ever bought in my life.
I remember my cousin. I remember visiting my cousin, and I heard Miss Jackson by Outkast. The first time I heard that song was playing on this sound system.
Wow, what a sense memory! I love that.
Still pristine. It is a pristine system.
That's a good buy.
Yeah,
that's a good purchase. I would love a good sound system. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that I know I'll have one day, but and I looked into them one time, and they can go you can get up there in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, of course, especially get into tube amps and stuff like that. Fuck yes.
But one day. So tell us, do you have a new? God, this is so fun.
So we're sitting here looking at boxes full of rhinestones. Just to set the scene.
Do you mind if I just pick through?
Go for it.
Mm-hmm. This is what happens when you record at the Showgirls home.
the crazy hoarding.
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Oh no! I think this is just standard Showgirl level rhinestones.
Oh yeah,
nothing has happened here to be.
I think it's pretty rudimentary.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, nothing.
Are
nothing
you building
crazy
a new show? Are you building a new act? I should say.
I am.
Are you always building a new act?
I am.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm very slow at it, which is why.
So where do you start when you build a new act?
Yeah.
Do you start with where do you start? Do you start with the song? Do you start with the?
It's different. Mm-hmm. I think it's usually a song that makes me move.
Okay.
And then I will file that song away into a little playlist or something. And then from there, kind of.
So you have a to-do list playlist of shit I want to make.
And I leave it, and I leave it in the oven. Mm-hmm. And I'll listen to the song all the time, and if I get sick of the song, I don't do it.
Well, because you're gonna have to listen to it 800,000 times in a row.
And it's usually there's a certain thing that happens with. I guess it's my obsessive nature or something like that. But there'll be certain songs that it doesn't matter how many times I listen to them. It just doesn't matter. I can just hear it and hear it and hear it.
Is it the emotional thing, or is it just could be a sound, or
it could be like you just said the phrase sense memory. It could be a sense memory echo that kind of creates an image, and then I work backwards from that image. That's usually how I make my costumes or something. I usually see something and then
see something and say something
like a good New Yorker. So
but I say it with
say it with your body.
Yeah, say it with your
nudity,
beautiful ass.
Yeah. So song to movement to costume. That's the order. General order of operation.
It's definitely an order, and it's definitely a process, but it sometimes can also go the opposite. It could also go visualize something,
an image,
make the costume, see how I move in it, and then find something that works with that.
Okay.
It's happened in both.
So that's the right order, but it could go. It's a two-way street.
Either way, tree was the image of the tree, and then worked backwards from there. Mm-hmm. And then Marilyn Monroe, the one with the gem mask, was I have to use this song. You know, I have to.
Oh, okay.
You know, and what do I do? What does this song mean to me? What does it mean? And it means this. And like, how can I visually interpret these feelings and then create the image?
How many like fully formed acts do you have like in your
like that
library?
I feel like really confident in, and I can pull out of the box
that are
and
done
do at any
or
moment.
done, quote unquote done. Nothing's ever done.
Nothing's ever done. 5 or 6 that are like functional, like
somebody books you tomorrow. You're like, I'm gonna show up with this, and
I can just do
I'm
this.
a fucking tree.
I can just tree bags is packed. I literally
tree bag is literally packed.
It's literally packed. I literally pick it up, put it on my shoulder, and go to the game.
Looking at
ready, you know?
branches just sprouting out of the beautiful IKEA bag.
Out of an IKEA bag, yeah.
How does that stay together? Do you have to like repair
It's a fucking nightmare.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like it.
It is the perfect example of me in a fucking act because it's the most cumbersome, foolish, like, it doesn't matter how I feel in this because it looks great.
Right. It sure does.
It doesn't matter
and you're like 7 feet tall.
What people should feel when they walk out the door.
Any day.
It doesn't matter how I feel.
Any day, whether you're going to strip or not.
It looks
awful.
good.
It is hot. I can't breathe. I have metal wires poking me all over
But
my
if you
body.
look good, there is time to be in your PJs, and it's at home on the couch.
Absolutely correct.
You know,
this is my drum beat.
Yeah, no, we were having this conversation that it's like discomfort in your clothing actually can be okay.
I think it sets a reminder.
Yes.
You know
where
what I
are
mean?
you?
Like,
what are you doing?
I think that's how it all started. You have your necktie on to 11, and that just keeps you kind of pushed back here and just waiting to. Like,
and then you take it off, and you're in different mode.
We're ready to move.
It's like when you dress up and you're like feeling something that's like really, you can feel it. It's like you feel dressed up.
Like, well, what is exciting about taking off a corset?
The relief when it comes off.
The relief of when it comes off. Right?
Yeah.
And if life is about balance, we should not all be walking around in athleisure wear all the time.
Well,
because there's never time.
So Andrew has is like really on his fucking like crusade about athleisure, which you're not wrong, babe. Like I feel you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a common.
Also,
right
now I'm wearing a black sweatshirt. So
I know, and I'm like,
let it be known that like,
what's athleisure? Is that like Lululemon?
Yeah, it's like Lululemon. Yeah, it's
like
like if you can do yoga in the same pants that you can go to work in, then you know, unless you're a yoga teacher.
In which case,
good point.
That's entirely appropriate.
Loophole.
Loophole. Physical trainer. Yeah.
Okay, so you have an act in development right now, or multiple things in development right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give us a hint without saying anything that's incriminating on the air?
No, yeah. I mean, like, it's so funny because most of the time I can't really put it into full words until I do it.
It's a thing, yeah.
It's a thing. But I have these damn feather fans that have been in the works.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
For fucking,
Did you make these fans?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so like it's a lot of wiring and a lot of patience and
and a lot of a lot of having to like wrist control.
Yeah, and so that's always in the works. And
you know what the irony is? I just wanted to point out, we just had a truck go by. It's so much quieter in like,
the Lower East
Side than it
Brooklyn.
Is in like far bumfuck Brooklyn where we live.
Yes.
Like it's like we're constantly interrupted.
I will say that it is a particularly quiet night, and I think it's probably because of everyone being terrified of the virus.
But I will say, my retort is that it was not a particularly quiet day in my apartment in Brooklyn.
Well,
so
that's because we know what you were doing in your apartment.
Redacted.
Redacted. That's my drag name.
Pretty good. Okay, so this is like a totally like this is a weird question, but okay, so I've been like really obsessed with The Deuce. Like we've
on HBO.
On HBO. I have
you watched any of it? Have you seen it?
You gotta see it, girl. You gotta see it. Okay, especially as a native New Yorker, I think you will either love it or possibly maybe kind of
hate it.
Hate it. I mean, I don't know. I think they do
hate
a pretty.
it.
No, I think no. I think they do a pretty
Hate it.
She said, hopefully.
Well, as a native New Yorker, I would expect you to hate it.
Yeah.
Just as like
Just
it's part
as a-
of like the
is
I'm a
this?
fucking New
Get the fuck
Yorker.
out.
This isn't
Get
a
the fuck
fucking.
out, fuck out of
This
here.
isn't fucking
You know
New
what?
York.
Because I was in Trader Joe's today with Rose, and she put a thing
That's
of
your
me
mistake.
on Instagram, doing like shaking my head with an angry
Because
no.
everybody bought all the
Because,
goddamn frozen
like,
food out of
what
the
do you
fucking
think,
freezer.
Like, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, how many packs of fucking Brussels sprouts do you need?
Oh, was it empty?
Because of
Gutted.
coronavirus, yeah.
Gutted because of coronavirus. And it's just like, this is the fucking problem.
Yeah, this is why we can't do those things. Okay, no.
I
okay.
needed one bag.
I was about to get such a high-minded
One
question.
bag
And you're
of
like, I just want the fucking Brussels sprouts.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because I know someone bought 4.
Oh, at least.
And they're
No,
like, "Man,
someone's
well,
nanny bought 4.
And then you know what? They're going to throw away 3.5
Okay.
of those.
Piss
Oh yeah,
me
In a
off.
year from
They're gonna
now.
get freezer burn in their Tribeca loft.
You ready for this? You ready? Now I'm going to do the thing where I incriminate myself as far as my age goes. But let me tell you something.
Back in my
Let me
day,
tell you something.
children.
Give it to us.
Listen, I've been here my whole fucking life, okay? So what does that mean? It means fucking Hurricane Irene. September 11th. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It means all of that
It
stuff.
means Giuliani's New York. It means Ed Koch's New York.
And
it means
Koch's, it means the bad old days.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I
Yeah.
see what you're saying, and I tell you to watch the news.
Okay, fine.
But what are you gonna
fine.
say? I
wanna hear
Well,
this.
because my point being is that, let's say during even during Sandy, let's say, we were like carrying water up the stairs for the elderly people in our building, and
Yeah.
making sure that
you
everyone
were
had
you
enough
were with your family here in the Lower East Side
in the
during
Lower
that?
East Side.
Okay,
Yeah, and actually down by the Fulton Fish Market.
right.
And the Fulton Fish Market, we were under like 4 feet of water.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Not
Yep.
for a long time, but it happened, and it shut everything
Does
down.
not have to
and
be for a long time
and
for it to be an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it blew out the electricity, and being on the 20th floor, and in your 60s or in your
Jesus.
70s, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know? So, community.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that exists anymore. I think you have people who are going to go and buy all the Brussels sprouts, Brussels sprouts that they can carry home to stick in their freezer while they lock their door.
I got mine. Fuck you.
And
or
I got
something.
mine. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what that attitude is. And we saw signs of it because there was one grocery store where they started to price gouge the water.
Oh.
Okay, so they were out front and they were selling it out of carts.
This is during Sandy.
This is during Sandy.
Because this happens all over now.
Of course.
But this is back.
And it
years
was
ago.
enough of a thing where enough people, I'm just going to say this, and a lot is coming from my face right now, but there were enough people standing around who told them
What they thought.
Told them
what
with-
they felt the issue was with them doing that.
You
and
see,
the
the
owner-
issue
Giving us a big
is,
New Yorker
capiche?
face.
And the owner
Big
of
Italian
the
New
store
Yorker
came
face
out
right
to
now.
tell the person, no, just give it to them, just give it to them. And they started giving away the water because they knew what was about to happen to
Right.
them. That doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
That kind of idea of like, oh, no, you don't understand.
Community camaraderie
Yes.
and yeah.
Like, we're here, we're waiting in line.
Yeah.
We're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, right. But you're not going to fuck us over.
But you're not gonna
And
fuck
it's not
us
even
over
like
now.
I'm getting
Yeah.
water for my neighbor. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even for myself.
Like
Exactly.
we're looking out for each other.
So I lack faith that those moments will happen again if the situation gets as dire. You see?
right, the corona situation.
Yeah.
Or
You
any
know what?
situation
Or any
similar.
situation. going
I
forward
have
at
hope
this
sometimes because like you do get those flashes every now and then
Mm-hmm.
of. So it's really nice when those things happen. Of course, they don't always happen.
Do you feel it's been longer in between moments of it happening? It happened for me on Monday.
What happened?
So
That people rallied for you.
not for me,
Okay.
but
That you witnessed it
that I
happen.
witnessed it happen. I was part of it.
Yeah, so sometimes it's like sometimes you see when you see people intervening and New Yorkers all coming together and doing the thing, and then sometimes you see that worst part of things where people are just like, "I got mine, fuck yours." So, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know that you see like going back to the thing that started this. I don't know if you see more or less of that in the Deuce narrative or whatever, but no. So the point I brought up about the show, I think you would like it because it's like 70s and 80s New York, at Times Square. Not really even New York. It's really specific to Times Square, and it's about the porn industry and you know.
They just do a really good job.
They just do a really good job.
I mean, to someone who has not been in New York in either of those decades.
In either of those decades, fuck yourself. But yeah, go on.
It just seems evocative of a different era.
Well, so I just finished the show.
So I would be curious to know how you.
Yeah, I'll look at it.
I don't know if this was like this was in either the penultimate episode or the ultimate episode, where they said something. Somebody said something that porn killed burlesque. And I was like, I would like to have Veronica respond to that.
Yeah.
Because like the idea behind that statement being that like, oh, once you can like see somebody
everything
getting like double penetration anal or whatever, then like what's the value
the tease
of the
porn killed burlesque for the individuals who believe that an orgasm is the goal of sex.
Think on that, people.
I love that answer. That's a really good answer. You like ethered that question.
I have to think about that. Porn ruined. Say it again. Porn ruined burlesque for people who.
For the same individuals that believe that an orgasm is the goal of sex. Or should I say the only goal? The only goal of sex.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm actually sold on that. And the prosecution rests.
Yeah, I mean, no, but like I get what it's saying. I mean, the aspect, because I think there are a lot of aspects to burlesque that aren't talked about. There are political aspects. There are, oral history aspects. There are cultural aspects that kind of all have reduced away into like this substance of people taking their clothes off slowly, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff behind it, and the idea of slowly revealing parts of the body that were so strictly forbidden to be seen, your ankle length skirts or whatever, like that's what kind of pushed the other aspects of it out of the way, the political satire and
the humor
like this, you know what I mean? And it was never just solely about the perversion of seeing a woman's body, you know what I mean? There was always something else with it, And it's, even like in comparison to porn, even if it's like the shoddy storyline of just like, hey, the guy's coming to fix the cable. And, we've got to lay some cable and all this kind of thing. And it's just like, all right, that's all the structure you need to get to the point. But now, I'm dropping bottles. But now, in this day and age, especially with like internet porn, where it's just like, scrub search. Oh, there we go. Right. To the quadruple penetration scene with the alien egg and thing, you know what I mean? Like, like the stories have nothing to do with it, and it's just the gratuitous part. And it's like mainlining. It's like mainlining the drug. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's just concentrating it down into its like most potent form, and just like hitting hard, hitting fast, and then being over.
Well, I think that's also a compelling. That's a compelling metaphor, also, that like porn is sort of the most potent version of something that can be a more like a more kind of just like is it fun? Like like freebasing is like not fun.
It's fun.
But like hanging out with your friends and like smoking some weed and like whatever.
Porn is the 20-year-old having sex who's never had sex, and burlesque is the 50-year-old who actually knows how it works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was really like the difference.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you how much were you aware of the scene or into the scene before you became part of the scene?
And what brought you to the scene?
Well, so I mean, I will say, like, just for, I mean, I don't want to like be hokey about, you know, giving history, and we'll give a little intro before we, you know, when we edit this, but like you and I met doing an act development class, where I mean, I was like super terrified, and you know, everybody's on their own journey, but I was, you know, in my own head on my own journey, and I really felt like I met you, and I felt like you were somebody who was so already in it. Like you were so like I felt like you were. I felt like you were already fully in the scene. You were experienced in it. You knew exactly what you were doing. And it wasn't until like we had known each other for a while, that you were like, oh, well, that was the first act solo act I did.
Yeah.
And I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because when I first met you, I had the impression, I'm like, here's a bitch who knows her shit. Like she knows what's up. She knows herself. She knows like her power and her body and she knows the scene and she knows this art form, and like so to understand that was actually we were actually on the same, like at the same like experience level of that journey, was like a super, like that was some fuckery.
Sorry about that.
No worries. That's a very elegant device.
It's classic.
Classy lady.
What are you looking through over there?
Don't mind me.
Just being a snoop.
What am I going to find?
I love
That's
it.
the question.
Oh, do it. Do it. I challenge you.
No,
to
I'm just
look
going through her
my
drawers.
I challenge
mindlessly
you to look through
while
my
we're
house.
talking.
He's not a gentleman over here. But yeah, no, so I forget what the question was, but
I mean, me too, but
The question was how you.
oh yeah, I had
you
asked like
arrived
what
to-
like
to
right, yeah,
burlesque.
like where was it something that you were into before you started doing, and Andrew was just saying, how did you get into it?
yeah, no, it was a huge gap in my life, in the sense of like somehow knew of its existence, yet like had the slightest brush with it, maybe like in the early 2000s. I think that I went to like a Suicide Girls burlesque show or something like this, or like I didn't even know what it was. Someone just took me, and it was at the Knitting Factory when it was on
Oh yeah.
Leonard Street in Manhattan. That's how.
That's some
we're
times.
going-
You just
we're
dated
going
yourself
back.
there.
Oh hell yeah! Listen, I'm telling you, I've been in this shit. And before that, I had been in the nightlife scene a little bit with like the Rocky Horror crowd and all this kind of stuff.
So costumey things, like
Yeah, costumey, theatery kind of things, and like never a performer, never did anything like that. But I think after transitioning, it left me with a big gap of kind of trying to like figure things out, you know, and just by happenstance, a friend of mine who later became a performer was like, oh, come with me to this burlesque show. It's right up the block. Turned out it was at the Slipper Room. But I saw them, and they were like, are we on for tonight? And I was like, sure. And I had no recollection of even making a plan with this person. But I just went along with it. And it turned out to be a student showcase from Joe Boog. And then they started talking about like the flirts class, and that night I was like,
this is it.
this is it.
Oh,
This is
that's
exactly-
so sweet.
this is exactly
So it wasn't
it.
It wasn't even like a professional burlesque show that brought you to it.
No,
like,
100%.
It was just
It was
students,
just like
first timers.
this makes total sense to me.
Oh my god, that
Seeing
is
all of this
so
and
cute.
seeing all these people, and you know who was in that showcase? Abby Fantastic. And it was seeing Abby Fantastic's act. She has this awesome act where like she's just like the sick and tired mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she comes out with like her laundry basket, and she's like milking her tit with cum, and like she's like just like throwing shit all around, and then she gets out and she just like fucks the shit out of the floor, and it was just amazing. And I was just like,
Yes, that.
This is.
here we are.
Oh my god, I think that like says something about you and about your journey with this, that your entry point was watching basically first time acts out of the
Absolutely.
gate versus watching like a legend or something.
Yes,
and saying,
100%.
Like, I saw Dirty, and I was like, that's it.
And then, like, once that became a reality, then all of a sudden I became obsessed, and and that's how I am with a lot of things. Like, when I get something in my head, I pursue it as hard as I can for as long as I can, and go as far as I can. It's just in my nature to do it. And
well, I think that's like definitely evidenced by the fact that, like, again, we sort of debuted our first acts together. I mean, I haven't like pursued burlesque as sort of an outlet personally, like for myself, but like that, if that was like your starting gun, the sort of distance that you've covered in the time from then to now is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you ask somebody who was sort of like, again, like maybe coming into the scene now or whatever, they'd be like, oh, Veronica,
Fixture.
like fixture.
It's ridiculous.
She's
I
like,
can't even think about it. It's
people know you.
amazing to me.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reason why it's amazing to me is because it was so much of like a coming home situation.
Like it was just the right
how it
place.
felt.
It was just the right place, the right time, the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments, and then I found myself where I find myself now, and I go, I mean, it's supposed to be this way.
And
Yeah.
all from a student showcase that you forgot that you had committed to.
Yeah,
attending.
yes. I'm not even sure I did commit to it.
Well, thank you to that person who brought
It's
you.
a lesson
'cause
in
that's-
life. You should always go out.
Well,
and
actually, the lesson in, for real though, like whenever someone invites me to a thing, like a show, especially like
Say
any
yes.
performance thing, I always say yes. I always say yes. Unless like I like actually physically can't. Like if I can be there, even if I'm like, this one woman show about whatever,
Right,
it doesn't sound that
salami.
good.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is you went out and saw a show that like
About salami.
about salami.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But like I never regret doing the thing, even if it was bad.
Right.
There
have been notably few times.
very few times.
And that's
very few
usually for me when the train breaks down and you're in Greenpoint and you have no way to get home.
Yeah.
Sort of situation. So it's like not even that you went and saw the thing, it's that you can't get home from it.
Can't get home
Or it's like
from the
incredibly freezing cold and like that kind
I mean,
of
but
thing.
that has nothing to do with the show. That
No,
has
it
to do
has
with
nothing to do with the show.
circumstances around being out of your house,
Right.
which is fundamentally bad. Being outside of your house is fundamentally bad. Being inside and safe in your home is fundamentally good. Said the introvert.
I'm going to argue on that point because I think like one of the things I feel luckiest is that I live down the block from one of the
biggest
central
venues,
locations for burlesque, and to know that like 6 days out of the week, if I need to get out of my head, I can just get
like
out
literally
of the
right
house.
now,
Yeah.
it's 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, we can
could
go
just walk
right
up,
over there.
Just walk there. Something's happening.
We can go right there, and it's just starting, and maybe we missed the first act. You know what I mean? And I know that there's a place for me to go where I'll be safe and where I'll get to sit and watch like
It's your
these
people, it's your place. Yeah.
even the people who I'm sick of. You know what I mean? Who I'm so happy are fucking there.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
seeing their same fucking thing and I fucking love it. You know what I mean? Just because it's not a package for me doesn't mean that it's not a package.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just being in a space that allows that to happen, it's so healing. It's so rejuvenating.
It's such a beautiful little thought there. Like going to see an act you've seen 1,000 times. Maybe even a person that you don't connect with, the
Yes,
performer, and then
absolutely.
a person you don't connect with.
Or
But
don't
then
like.
Or don't like. Or don't like. I love, and it's actually, there aren't many, but there are people who I do not like who
Move you.
who I would love to watch,
Right.
or who move me, or
Yeah.
who like, absolutely, 100%. I think that's part of the beauty of it. Whether or not they can detach to the point of feeling that,
That's different.
that's their problem.
Different
That's
story.
their-
yeah,
that's
that's
their
on
problem.
them.
That's
on-
their problem.
Yeah.
But I don't have that problem, and I think it's amazing that there's a space for people like me who don't have that problem to exist. You see what I'm saying?
Well, one thing that I found really striking about the whole scene or community, if you will, is just how, and maybe it's just because it's like a niche, more like niche type of artistry, is how quickly very intense bonds are formed between people in the same cohort, maybe of sort of
people you perform with often,
with, or even just the people you see around, like on the scene, and like whatever. And I feel that a lot I've witnessed it happen like directly of people kind of going from, like, I was there when they met for the first time, right, and then going to them being like ride or die family people. And I think that's like such a beautiful thing, and it's something that, you know, like in culture at large talks a lot about, you know, is in the queer community or whatever, but in, like, I see it in the burlesque community as being its own thing. It's in a similar way that like people find family and like really attach.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, and to echo that even further, my experience with that is with Dandy, Samson, and Margot. And they had already known each other, and I had known Dandy, and Dandy kind of like literally just like one day like brought me over, and that was it.
And you were in the family.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It was family, and it's been family since, and like that's what we call each other. That's what it is. It's family.
That is, for the record, Dandy Dillinger, Samson Knight, and Margot Mayhem.
Follow them on Instagram.
Yes, absolutely.
No, fucking seriously.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you can't just name check somebody and not like.
Yeah, for sure.
Give them a like,
but like,
follow.
Family. You know what I mean? Family. Yeah. And that has been like one of the most incredible experiences. And I was just talking about this with Tiger, who also is like fucking family at this point. You know what I mean? And we were saying like how in burlesque, especially, I think it's in any art form, when it's an art form that is as vulnerable as burlesque, when you connect with someone in that space, it is instantly a very deep connection. Yeah. Because if you're out there and you're really giving it, like, and there's someone else who's really giving it, you're going to connect in a very real way.
It is so vulnerable. That, I mean, absolutely. Like, I can't remember who it was. This is around the time when we were taking that act development class. I was like, look, I was talking to a friend who had just moved to a new city, and I said, if you want to make a friend, don't go to running club.
Take a burlesque class.
Every fucking asshole goes to running.
I mean, that's a separate conversation.
And I know that's a separate conversation, which I have thoughts about. But like, you know what I mean? Like that, the level of investment of yourself as a person in being a runner is, and I'm sorry, runners, negligible to. First of all, I would say nearly any art other than like, you know, sipping
any creative
paint.
endeavor.
But the level of vulnerability that was forced upon us in that class to expose ourselves, obviously physically, but completely like emotionally and artistically to a group of strangers was something I had not experienced before. While you're naked. So you're vulnerable.
And everyone else is clothed. Yeah. Which I think is an important factor to throw in there.
Oh, sure.
Because you do your act.
Everybody watches you. And then people tell you about it.
While people who are clothed, they look like people you'd be on the subway with, are telling you what they think of your act.
What they like and don't like. Yeah. I was like, this is the most... Awesome. It was... I think that was actually really it was life-changing for me.
Well, I think it kind of introduced me to a kink. Fair. Vulnerability kink. Exposure.
Yes, Brené Brown.
Exhibitionism. It opened everything up.
But yeah, no, so I told somebody that. I was like,
this is very profound for
don't
both
go to
of
running.
In different ways.
Yes, it was key turning.
Go to something specific that puts something of yourself on the table, and that other people are putting something of themselves on the table. Right. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be burlesque.
Well, but I also think that is 100% of the drama that happens behind the scenes in burlesque.
Yes.
Because I believe that when you are putting
heightened
something
emotions.
False out, you are going to connect with the people who are also putting something false out.
Preach, tell the people.
And this transcends burlesque. And I hear you.
And I
so
absolutely think that's the
clearly.
case. I think it's with any creative endeavor.
I think maybe it
Because
becomes
you give
more.
from creating. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
In the creative process, if you are not genuinely giving from yourself,
Absolutely.
what's the point?
What is the point? Or like, what are you getting from it? And the answer is, if you're putting something negative out,
Yeah.
you're getting something negative.
Yeah.
You're attracting
Oh yeah,
the negative.
absolutely.
Okay, surprise. We had so much to talk about with Veronica that we split our April episode into 2 parts. Stay tuned for part 2 of our interview in our next episode. We get into a lot more about gender, identity, and making meaningful art in the next installment. You can subscribe to us anywhere you listen to podcasts and find us at vjandstevens.com. That's VIJAY and Stevens with a PH. We're working on some scripts and some fun new live projects. You can find us at VJ and Stevens on Instagram, and our assistant Susan now tweets at Memos from Susan.